Okay, everybody, we have gone to a different system and hopefully will allow me to actually complete what I'm trying to say. So the first question is, what is Israel's role in being a light to the nations? And the key is becoming that primordial light, which is within us. So when we go inside and we can hit the quietness inside, we're tapping in the primordial light, which through meditation, we can then send out to the world, literally as a light to the nation, literally. Now, the second level of that question is the meditation, what I call the firepower of God, which we'll be doing now in a half hour. And then the third level is working with Israel around the world, which is a very, very powerful force, even though we're 0.02% of the world population, or 0.2%, to live in a way and create a frequency, centered from the state of Israel, that by a way of life, by the way of returning to prayer, returning to God, really, in a major way, is the key thing. It's interesting to note that when they did a survey of what people think about this present plague, 44% of the people surveyed, 44% said this is a wake-up call from God. Okay, I'll take it a step further, a wake-up call from God to return to God. That's really an important thing. And these were not necessarily religious people, okay? So I'm making that point. So that's the answer. So in now and into the future, through meditation, through accessing the primordial light of the divine and sending it out to the world, we can shift the global brain, the global mind. The research shows for the whole globe is if just 1% of the population were to move in this direction, okay, what we're talking about is we can affect the other 99% to help them wake up. So in a very big way, this whole crisis actually is a giant wake-up call to literally wake up the world, okay? Way beyond there's a problem, with the virus. So I want to go a step further in that discussion, is that may we be blessed that we don't return to normal. May we be blessed that we return to way beyond the normality, the unawake normality. I didn't say woke, I said unawake normality, and return to God in whatever way we can do that. We've been given that obviously through the Torah, but an important thing when I kind of study Rabbi Nachman of Breslau, it's all about Hebo Didu, which is meditating, going inside and speaking directly to God. So that's how we really turn this around. But it does require a serious amount of the population, 1%, to shift it for the other 99. That's what the research is now showing. If we go to quantum physics, quantum physics is very clear. The power of our mind can indeed affect the outer reality. In other words, our thoughts count. So I'm giving you a quantum physics approach to understanding that the thoughts of the mind affect literally the outer reality. Therefore, this is a potential turning point for all humanity. Now, it could turn the other way. If we aren't really paying attention, we're dealing with forces, dark forces, who want to control and enslave us. So let's be clear. Israel though Abraham was the first to stand up to this, to Nimrod. When Abraham challenged Nimrod, and Nimrod said, don't you know I'm basically like a god, and whatever I do is what is, and you should worship me in that way. And Abraham very cleverly said, oh yeah, I'll go with that. But one thing, tomorrow you need to make the sun rise in the west instead of the east, and then I'll believe you. And that, of course, completely made a fool out of Nimrod. And the best he could do was throw him in the fire that was so hot, in the kiln, because they're building the Tower of Babel. And of course, Abraham didn't get burned up. But the point is, Israel's a troublemaker, right? Troublemaker for the dark side, not for the light. And so we have and been given the power to walk before God and be whole, as Abraham was said, be a blessing to the world. So there's multiple levels how Israel really, really is important in this whole scenario, going all the way back 4,000 years to the time of Abraham. So keep that in mind, that we've been given that power. Are we using it? No, we can use it a lot better. And that's by returning to God through the power of prayer and meditation to shift the global brain and sharing that primordial white light, which dwells within us, is us. If we go in, there's a term called bitul ha'esh, the deep emptiness inside, okay? And when we access it, the first step of accessing it is the white light, okay? And so first, we're dealing with chaos reigns over the darkness. And then comes the light, which dispels the chaos. That's us. That's Israel. That's hopefully the whole world. So we do have a really very, very important role. Return to God, meditate in that way. And the next question is, how meditation helps us stay sane during this time? It's a really good question. And there are multiple levels. Again, so how does it help us stay sane? First, if we understand, I'm going to go to a different term here, which is viveka, that it's the ability, these are like a virtue, the ability to see the difference between the temporal reality, which is what we're looking at, and the cosmic reality, which is a bigger awareness. When we meditate, we get in touch with the cosmic reality, the real truth of who we are. I am, understanding of who we are. And part of that cosmic reality, and if we kind of don't go deeper into air, to share air, is air means I'm always with you. Okay? As a direct experience. That's what Moses was told at the burning bush. So air is kind of translated in a certain way, means I'm always with you. So when we meditate, we're able to touch in to the space, the bitul ha'esh, where we can feel most actively the presence of the divine in our life. Okay, air, I'm always with you. Once we understand that, then we can really be at peace that what we're going through is, so whatever God does is for the best. What we're going through it, even though we don't understand, there has to be a place where we say, well, I don't really understand what this is about. Okay, that's fine. But it's always for the best. I mean, that's an important assumption, but it also gives us peace. Another level of peace is when we quiet the mind, the anxieties and worries disappear, and we have that inner peace. Again, just that is enough. I don't like to think about meditation as, oh, well, it's for anxiety and dropping your blood pressure and so forth. I don't like, but that is clearly an important effect. Clearly, we quiet the mind. We know from research since 1973 that really, if you're meditating more than 5 years of meditating even 20 minutes twice a day, we are talking about creating a physiology that's 15 years younger. So all that happens, lowering your blood pressure and so forth. But the real thing that happens is with the power of a quiet mind, we stop worrying. Going deeper, when we hit that white light, the Betul Ash inside, that's complete emptiness inside, Betul, complete emptiness, then we are put at ease knowing that God dwells within us, is us. The inner God, outer God, that's where he takes us back to Abraham. At those times, people knew about an outer God, but they didn't know about an inner God, a presence of God within. And that's key. So when we meditate, we feel that presence. We can become aware of air. I'm always with you. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob didn't actually see that in the outer world. Moses saw that because they had the Exodus. Okay, God was with them, took them out of the Pharaoh of that time. Now we have a different attempt for a Pharaoh to rule the world. Same thing. So Israel's role is always to be the boundary crosser that pops out of the box. Okay, Ivri, it pops out of the box and helps people wake up. It also helps us wake up. We have to start with ourselves. We're the ones that have to wake up first. When we're meditating regularly, and I'm going to say a minimum of 20 minutes twice a day, it opens the door for us to access this deeper truth, the deeper cosmic truth, getting away from the temporal reality. And that's what happens then. So we find the inner peace. That just is what happens. Quiet mind. We tap into air. I'm out. God is saying, I'm always with you. And as we tap into the light, we understand the bigger picture. And so we become more naturally at peace. And we tap a little deeper. You tap into the non-causal love, non-causal peace, non-causal contentment, non-causal joy. That is our birthright. But we have to go a little deep in meditation to hit that. That's what I call the fifth. There's, depending on the system, there's 5 or 6 layers of the mind. The deepest layer of the mind is where we're tapping into the non-causal peace, non-causal love, non-causal joy, and non-causal oneness. So that's all that happens. That's a lot that happens in meditation, simply going inward. God is always with us. So that's a great question. So next question is, one of your recommendations in dealing during this time is to deepen our connection with God. What does it mean practically? What actions should we do on a daily basis? So these are great questions. I love these questions. And this will be the last question because I'm going to lead us into meditation. So, of the firepower of God. So the answer is meditate, meditate, meditate. However, I mentioned this, I teach the 6 foundations in sevenfold peace. And briefly, I'm going to go over that. So, because the question also includes what action should we do on a daily basis, okay, besides meditating. First, we want to eat a diet that's going to create a quiet mind. The research really shows that a vegan, plant-based only, at least 100%, at least 80% live food diet creates a quiet mind. And there are reasons for it technically, like I've clearly noted that a live food vegan diet improves and rebalances all your neurotransmitters. In my book, Depression Free for Life, I talk about that. But we're just going to go with that in this 3-minute little segment. So that's one thing we can do that actually really does make a difference, okay, in creating a quiet mind. then we come more at peace. So there's eating this diet is the optimum diet. And in terms of the flow of the Ruach Kadesh or Kundalini, we know it clears the nadis, channels through which this subtle energy moves, so there aren't blockages to it. Again, I have a whole explanation of it, but basically eating meat, fish, chicken, and dairy, you're taking in the pain and misery of the animal and fear of the animal, and that penetrates not only our chakra system, but out layers of the mind and blocks the flow of the divine energy. Okay, so that's that. Spiritual fasting is very important. That's different than fasting. So spiritual fasting, which we have been doing in Israel, of course, right now everything blocked in the moment, is a very powerful way to clear the energetic channels, which are called nadis in the Vedic system, in which the energy flows, and people can go deeper into meditation and have much cleaner flow of the Kundalini, or what I would also call the Ruach Kadesh. Okay, the second is working with the physical body, what I'm going to call the prana, actually the nephesh, also chi for those who are into the Chinese. And we have breathing exercises, which we call the pranayama, which are very important for expanding consciousness. The more we expand consciousness, of course, the more we're able to connect with God. So we have that. We have general what I call yoga asana, which tends to balance the nadis, the chakras, and really what we call the activities of the mind. And each chakra has different natural activities, like balancing the heart chakra. The virtue would, would be joy and love and so forth. They get balanced. So that's those things. Sacred dance. Rabbi Nachman, and I'm going to do this later today, if I can get on the internet, Facebook, you'll see, because it's my birthday today, a kind of sacred dance. Rabbi Nachman, we're not just talking about joy and ecstasy. Rabbi Nachman actually understood back in 1802 to 1804, he actually understood that the dance was a way of nullifying what he called the evil decrees, which is kind of what we're facing today. So the Tsar trying to contract and, in a sense, eliminate Israel, who are living in Russia. Third is service and charity, which is helping each other. When we are involved in service and charity, we're opening our hearts to each other. Fourth, if people are ready, we're working with a spiritual teacher who can help support one in their spiritual path, because spiritual teachers have usually gone through and fallen in most of the holes. So they along the way, and they can help you. Fifth is meditation and prayer and repeating the name of God. Those three things. And six is what we call Haniha or Shaktipat, which is the awakening of the Kundalini and the Ruach Kadesh if we're ready. And we'll be doing that just a minute, because we can do it through the eyes and also through sound. So that's the way of life. And the term for it in yoga is Sanatana Dharma, the natural way of living that brings you to liberation. Now, that's obviously really important and really good to have happen. So that's kind of the overview. This sevenfold piece kind of works with that. So it's peace with the body. We talked about peace with the mind with meditation, and peace with the family. So that means our own family. It means sacred relationship. It's a great way in itself to liberation. And then we have peace with the community. Now, peace with the community doesn't mean the community has to be at peace. It's just that we create an interface with the community where we're at peace. Maybe we have to be way back from the community. And then peace with all cultures. From the Native American way, we talk about the rock people, earth, living planet, peace with the living planet. We talk about the plant people. We talk about the swimming ones and flying ones. And then finally, peace with the human, all the human cultures. Okay, and then we talk about peace with ecology. I call it sacred ecology because when we really wake up, we understand we are one with the living planet. We're not separate. We're not environmentalists working on the planet. We're one with the planet. We take care of ourselves. That's world ecology. And then that reflects. We take care of the outer planet. We're taking then also care of our physical bodies as well. And then finally, peace with God. So that's a lifestyle that supports the main point, Didu, where we're literally communicating with a quiet mind, meditating with a quiet mind. So we are at one with all of God's creation and feeling at one with God in terms of a cosmic oneness. That's how you do it. So what we're going to do now is do a guided meditation. We're going to start with Haniha or Shaktipat via I and by the sound of Yod, first letter out of the nothing. And I will going to teach simple form meditation for people, which really Moses received at the burning bush. And actually, I received after a 21-day water fast, where I was given this meditation to give the people. And it's Yod on the in-breath. Notice I have sentences in between, so we're not saying the name of God all at once, so I'm not offending anybody. Yod on the in-breath from the base, actually, what we call Yukta Trividi, it's right below the first chakra. And we're inhaling up to the heart, and then hey out to the heart. And then I got the word wa instead of vav, but I realized that that's a Sephardic way of pronouncing it. I didn't know at the time. But so second is wa from the base again to the dot, D-A-A-T here, and then hey back out to the heart, merging the heart and the mind. And we simply repeat that until the mind is quiet. And then you're in meditation. So Hibo Ninut, and then finally Hibo Didut. Yeah, Hibo Ninut is concentration. Hibo Didut is meditation. So that's what we're doing. So here we go. So first, the awakening the energy through the eye, through the sound. Just focus on here for a moment. And now Yod. Yod. And now go into meditation, just keep repeating the name. If you have your own mantra, you can use that too, of course. But just repeating the name as I gave it to you. Yod and in breath, hey and out breath, wa and in breath, hey and out. Now, as you inhale, feel the energy can come up from the below the base chakra to the heart, from the cosmos to the crown into the heart. And as we exhale, send it to the whole body, burning up all toxic energies, fungi, bacteria, viruses, negative thought forms. And inhale again. And take the exhale this time, and we're sending this firepower of God, of Hashem, around the world, burning up all focuses of darkness and transforming the darkness into the light. So just visualize as you exhale, let that firepower of God move out around the planet, burning up all dark forces, transforming it into the light. And the final step of that is, as we inhale again, we're sending that firepower of God out into the solar system, burning up all levels of dark forces from all spaces and places, turning it, transforming it back into the light. And this is something we'll continue to do for the next at least 10 minutes. And then we're going into meditation, but it's something you can do every day as well. slowly come out of meditation. Water. We just have a moment to go. Our time, and they can't give me questions in this game. We actually have time for a little feedback. Okay, I see the question. So people are wishing me happy birthday. That's really good. I appreciate that. So what I do want to mention in this, so it doesn't, it has me facing down. I don't know what's, okay, there we go. So I see your questions and they're all, this is my birthday, and actually in a very short time, I'm going to be doing Rabbi Nachman birthday dance, because the idea is when he was, what to do with the Russians passing all these laws to contract people and control, and there were pogroms, and villages were being attacked, all these things. And so what to do? He said, dance, because dance brings you joy and ecstasy, but it also helps nullify the evil decree, which is what we're doing. So we'll do that in a few minutes, as soon as we can figure out a little bit how to handle the technical. So we will, it is scheduled for 1, which is not really great for Israeli time. And given all the technical difficulties, we may have to perhaps do it a little bit earlier. Yeah, I mean, you see the problem. You know, for Israel, that's pretty late in the evening. Anyway, thank you for all the well wishing. Great, because we're reaching Europe here too, not just Israel. So we see all kinds of things. Rodrigo and Robert Daly, very nice to see you, both you and Angie there. And so just know that the power of our meditation, if once we reach that 1%, is enough literally to change the global brain. And those who got the Shaktipat, Haniha, and that light of the power of the Ruach Hash is activated, you may see it by feeling some heat in your body or some spontaneous movement. It's all part of what goes on. Some people may hear divine sounds. And that is the beauty of it all. And I thank you all for joining us. We will be doing this every Thursday, for Israel and Europe, actually. And whether it will be at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, we'll make that decision. We would appreciate your feedback about the best time. Right now, I think it's 8 o'clock in Israel, and I think maybe 7 o'clock. Well, 8 o'clock in Israel. So we'll go from that, but we're really talking to all of Europe as well. So may we be blessed that we're really able to transform the planet with the firepower of our meditation and the expansion of our awareness. Thank you all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Itakiwasin. Amen.